Hey, how's everybody doing? Today I'll be going over what critics thought about each movie in the Shrek franchise. This video doesn't include the 5th Shrek movie, since currently at the time of recording it's not out yet. As always, let me know your thoughts and thanks for watching. Why is the original Shrek beloved by movie critics? Shrek is a 2001 fantasy animation adventure, and it is one of the most popular animated franchises ever. Loved by kids, loved by adults, but what about critics? Movie critics sometimes have unpopular opinions, so let's see if that's the case here. On Rotten Tomatoes, Shrek gets an 88% critic score and a 90% audience score. Pretty high. I was honestly expecting a little bit higher. The critic consensus quickly goes over how the movie has a good message, and how the humor in the movie generally hits for most audiences. Now that being said, is Shrek one of your favorite animated movies? Was Shrek 2 liked by movie critics? Shrek 2 is a 2004 fantasy animation adventure starring Mike Myers, Eddie Murphy, and Cameron Diaz. Shrek 2 released 3 years after the first in the franchise, and it had pretty high expectations to meet. The first Shrek is obviously a classic in its own right, and making a sequel that matches the energy of the original is not an easy task. So that being said, what did the critics think about it? On Rotten Tomatoes, Shrek 2 gets an 89% critic score and a 69% audience score, and the consensus says while it may not be as fresh as the original, the humor and character depth makes Shrek 2 a winner in its own right. Getting a slightly lower score than the first movie as well isn't really a bad thing, since that's typically how animated franchises play out. Let me know your thoughts on Shrek 2 and if it's your favorite from the franchise. Why was Shrek 3 hated by movie critics? Shrek 3 is a 2007 comedy adventure animation starring Mike Myers, Eddie Murphy, and Cameron Diaz. The Shrek franchise had back-to-back home runs with the first 2 movies, and of course the studio was looking to go 3 for 3, and as you'll see right now, that did not go according to plan. On Rotten Tomatoes, Shrek the Third gets a 41% critic score and a 52% audience score. When it comes to critics, going from high 90s to low 40s is obviously a bad sign. There still are Shrek movies and shorts that came out after this one, so clearly it didn't seem to demotivate them that much. The critic consensus basically says that Shrek the Third traded heart, charm, and wit for cheap pop culture references, and I'm curious to see if the 4th Shrek movie will show any improvement. Did critics hate Shrek Forever After? Shrek Forever After is a 2010 adventure fantasy animation starring Mike Myers, Eddie Murphy, and Cameron Diaz. Forever After is the 4th movie in the Shrek franchise. With a strong first half, the 3rd movie fell off a little bit as far as ratings go, and let's see if the 4th installment lived up to the hype of the first. On Rotten Tomatoes, Shrek Forever After got a 58% critic score and a 54% audience score. A noticeable improvement from Shrek the Third, but definitely not anywhere near where the studio would have wanted it. The critic consensus says while it's not without its moments, the movie feels like an old rehashing of the franchise's earlier entries. With the recent announcement of a 5th Shrek movie, it'll be interesting to see if the franchise can rebuild after 14 years since the last installment. As always, let me know your thoughts on Shrek Forever After.